So let's revise. What did we say yesterday? Here now, as you see, this is the direct variation and the inverse variation. We said that the direct is that's mean, or the equation of the direct is like y equals k times x. This is the equation for the direct variation. Y equals k times x. And for the inverse, y equals k over x. Now, so this is here the inverse and the direct variation. Now, let's now compare between them here. Here now this is the direct, so we say that this is the direct and this is the inverse. Now, the equation for the direct, or we can say that k, the constant k, or the ratio k here, for the inverse, it is x times y. But for the direct, it is y over x. Now, the equation for the direct, that's y equals k times x. But for the inverse, y is k over x. Now, why we called it direct? Or what's the meaning? Oh, let's have an examples of direct. Direct, it's mean like both increase or both decrease. So if x is increased, y will be increased. But if x is decreased, y will be decreased. So this is here that both of them increase or both of them decrease at the same time. But for the inverse, one increase and the other decrease. They're opposite to each other. Or one decrease and the other increase. So if we decrease x, y will be increased. Or if you increase x, y will be decreased. This is the inverse. Now, then, let's talk about now the graph of them for the inverse and for the direct. Now, as I told you, the equation y kx and here y k over x. So from the first one, from the equation here, the domain is any number. So that's me. If you want to graph it here, you have two times. Either k is greater than 0 and k is less than 0. And you have the same for the inverse. K, it could be greater than 0 or less than 0. If k is greater than 0 and direct, we have the graph like this. So it could be on the quadrant 1 and the quadrant 3. And if it is inverse, it's come like this. And also it's in the quadrant 1 and the quadrant 3. Now, if it is direct, it can intercept the axis, but if it is inverse, it must not intercept the axis. If k is less than 0, it comes like this. So it is in quadrant 2 and in quadrant 4. And if k is less than 0 for the direct, for the inverse, sorry, it comes here and here. and it is in quadrant 2 and quadrant 4. This is here for the direct and for the inverse. Now, do you have any question?
No, teacher.
No, miss.
Now, let's go now to problem number 4 here. To have, as you see here, we have a data in the table. Now let's see, or let's determine if these data represent a direct variation or inverse variation. How can we know that from these data if it is inverse or direct? The first step here to determine by using K. You have to say, I told you that if the ratio of, I mean y over x is constant, and you have to check the product of y times x is K. Now, if the ratio of y over x is constant, so this is
inverse variation.
y over x is constant, this is direct.
Direct.
And if k, or if x times y is constant, this is inverse. So to know that if these data are present an equation and direct or inverse, you have to check the ratio or the product. Let's check the ratio now. Let's check y over x. Is it constant? Is y over x for each two following numbers are the same? Let's see. Negative 15 over 3. It's negative 5. So here I divide y over x. Let's now check the second one. Negative 20 over 4, which is negative 5. And also let's check here, negative 25 over 5. So I divide y over x, y over x. Now what did you see here? We see that the k here is the same. The k is constant. Is it right?
Yes.
So since now the k is constant here, since we have the same number of k, so if k is constant, that means this is direct. So I have to say now this is direct variation. Now since it is direct, make a cross product here. Y is k times x. This is the equation of the direct. So where is k? What is the value of k? So let's now find the equation. To find the equation, as I told you, I have to write the equation of the direct and evaluate k. Here y is k times x. So instead of k, I have to write the value of k. What is the value of k here?
Negative 5.
Negative 5, exactly. So this will be now the equation for the direct variation, or the equation that represent this data. Is it clear?
Yes, teacher.
Yes, miss.
Yes.
Let's have now another example. Now here, the x is 2, y is 9, x is 4, y is 4.5, and x is 6, y is 3. Now here, what you have to do? Here, let's check.
Divide.
If y over x is k. Let's now find the ratio for 3 of them, the 3 values, I'm sorry, if they are constant or no. Yeah, 9 over 2. So the first one here, we have 9 over 2, which is 4.5.
4.5.
4.5 over 4. Let's now divide it here.
Miss, it's equal 1.125.
1.125.
And the third one here, 3 over 6, which is 0.5. Now, as you see, look at the values of k here. Are they constant?
No.
No, they are not a constant. So that's mean they are not a direct. Because if the ratio is constant, this will be a direct. If it's not constant, let's check now. Let's check if it is increase, if it is inverse. How to check if it is inverse or not? By multiply x times y. So let's see now. So let's multiply now x times y. 2 times 9, 4 times 4.5, and 6 times 3. 2 times 9 is 18. 4 times 4.5 is 18. And 6 times 3 is 18. So is k a constant here? Or are the ratios
Yes,
are
Miss.
constant? Yes. So that's mean here. That's the values of k now is constant. Now, since k is constant, so this is what? This is an inverse variation. So this is an inverse variation. So now, so it is inverse variation. So that's mean the equation for the inverse was y over equal k over x. Is it right?
Yes. Yes.
So y equals, now what is the value of k?
18.
18 over x. Bravo. Is it clear?
Yes, teacher.
Teacher, what are the formula for the inverse variation and the direct?
Now, for the direct, y is k times x. For the inverse, y equals k over x.
Okay.
Here, let's divide. I mean, like, look here, divide by x, divide by x. So y will be k over x. Here, make a cross product. Y is k times x. If you know the how the ratio and the product of them, you can find its equation. Now here. Now, do the data in each table represent a direct variation or an inverse variation? For each table, write the equation to the model. Now here, in A, okay, I want you now to check if it is direct or inverse, and send me on chat to me, not to everyone. Okay, be careful. Write it the word a direct or inverse. Just tell me if it is direct or inverse.
Teacher A.
Yes, A. A.
Okay.
So direct means if you divide k over x, they be a constant. So negative 12 over 4, or negative 18 over 6, or negative 24 over 8. Now, negative 12 over 4, it's negative 3. Negative 18 over 6 is negative 3. And negative 24 over 8 is negative 3. Are they a constant? Are they the same?
Yes.
Yes. So this will be now.
Yes.
So we can say that this is a direct. Now, what is the equation of the direct? Y equals
K
times x. So y will be negative 3x. This will be now the equation for the direct. Now, I want you now to solve B now, to send me if it is. I want you now to send me the equation of B. Don't tell me it's direct or inverse. I need now the equation. The equation means you want to write it as y equals kx or y equals k over x. Inside the rectangles here. This is the equations. I need now the equations here.
Teacher, and also send you like the work or only the equation?
No, just the equation.
Okay.
Thank you, Yara. Thank you, Basma.
Welcome, teacher.
Now, here, let's see who's sending out. Thank you, Nada. Now, here you have to find k. As you see, this is inverse. The inverse, that means the ratio of each product of y over x is constant. Then y, which is negative 12 over 4, and negative 8. Check the product, not the ratio. Here you told me that it is inverse, so the product is constant. So k is y times x. Now, here, negative 12 times 4 is negative 48. And
48.
negative 8 times 6
Also
is negative 48.
48.
And negative 6 times 8 is negative 48. As you see now that here the product of each two variables, y and x, are constant. Since now the product is constant, so this will be inverse. From here, the product is constant, though this will be an inverse. So what is the equation will be? Y equals k over x. Be careful. Some of you send it to me as k times x. It is k over x. So k, as you say, it is negative 48 over x. This is y.
Yeah, that was my answer.
Me too. But teacher, I send it to you as 48 times x because I don't know how to make it over each other.
Okay, no problem.
And
Now, so now as I told you, that's the difference between the inverse and the direct. That's the equation of the inverse. Y equals k over x. And for the direct, y is k times x. Now, for the inverse, if x increased, y decreased. But for the direct, if X increased, Y increased too. Let's have now some examples here to determine these situations represent a direct or inverse. Here, you buy some chicken for $1.700 for each pound. Look at them here. Here you buy, oh, that's mean if the chicken is 1 pound, its cost is $1.79. If it is 2 pounds, what is the cost of the chicken will be?
Teacher, I will multiply.
Is exactly, you multiply 2 by this number, you get it as 3.58. And if the weight is 3 pounds, so here you multiply 3 times 1.79 and you get the answer as 5.37. Now, check X. X here, it is 1, then 2, then 3. So it's increased. And what is the about of the values of Y? Is it increased or decreased?
No, teacher, also it increased.
Increase. It was 1.1, then it comes as a 3, then it comes as 5 point something. So it's also increased. If you have increase and increase, this is a direct. Is it clear?
Yes, miss.
So since the cost as I buy 2 pounds, the cost of the chicken will be increased. So I increase the weight of the chicken and the cost will be increased. Increased. In my mind, this is direct. Now, number 29. Here now. An 8-slice pizza is shared equally by a group of friends. So, if you are now 2 friends, if you are 4 friends, and if you are 8 friends. Now, if now only we have Huda and Farah, and I have a pizza with 8 slices. So how many slices will Huda take?
4.
4.
So 4 slices to each girl. Now, if you have now 4 friends, Huda, Farah, and then Basma and Basmala. Here you have 4 friends.
2.
So how many slice of pizza each one have? 2.
2.
2.
Now, if you have now 8 friends, okay? You can bring like Farah, Huda, Yara, Sarah, Jana, Basmala, Basma, and so on. 8 friends. And we have now 8 slices. So how many girls or how many slices each girls take?
1.
Exactly. Now, look at the values here. 2, 4, 8. 2, it comes as 4, it comes as 8. Is it increased or decreased?
Increase.
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 Now, the second one here. It was 4, then 2, then 1. Is it increase or decrease?
Decrease.
Decrease.
It's decrease. Bravo. So, if we have increase and decrease, what's the variation will be?
Inverse.
Thank you.
Inverse.
Because I told you, if it is increase and decrease, it will be inverse. Is it clear?
Yes. Yes, miss.
Yes,
No.
miss.
Let's check number 30. You find the length and the width of several rectangles. Each has an area of 24 centimeters squared. So here you have a rectangle. And we know that the area of rectangle is length times width. So if the length is 2, what's the width will be? The area is 24. And the area is the length times the width. So if the length, this is the length, and this is the width. So if the length is 2, what's the width will be?
12.
That you have to do to find
12.
width.
12.
You have to divide the area over the length.
Divided by, it will
So
be
24, it will be 12, yes. If the length is 3, what's the width will be?
4.
Use this equation here. The width will be the area over the length. So 24 over 3.
Wait. 8.
8, bravo. If the length is 4, what's the width will be?
6. It will be
6.
teacher 6.
If the length is 6, what's the width will be?
4.
4.
4.
If the length is 8, what's the width will be?
3.
3. Bravo.
3.
How did you know the width? By dividing area over the length. Is it clear?
Yes.
Yes, miss.
Now look at the values of the length. Are they increased or decreased? 2, 3, 4, 6, 8. Are it's increasing?
Yes.
Yes, miss.
Yes. Now look at the values of the width. They are 12, then 8, then 6, then 4, then 3. Are they increased or decreased?
Please.
Decreasing.
Decrease. Bravo. So here it was decrease. Here it's increase. Since it's decrease and decrease, where's the increase and decrease? It's direct or inverse?
Inverse.
Inverse. Bravo. So I will say that number 30 here, this will be an inverse. Is it clear?
Yes, miss.
Yes,
It's
miss.
clear.
So these are now the answers here. Do you have any question?
No, miss. It's clear.
No, thank you, teacher. No, it's clear.
Okay.